Hey, everybody. What's up? Welcome to this episode of The World According to the Blind Dog. We're here at Deaf Dog and Blind Studios. You got the one OB, the original blind dog here. And if you've watched any of my videos, you could see that I'm a guitar player, musician. Been doing it for quite a while, ever since I was a youngster. It was a big part of my life during an unhappy childhood. It was a big part of my life during an unhappy marriage. And now that things seem to have calmed down somewhat, it's still a big part of my life, and I'm pretty sure it'll continue to be so. When I make a video about music or the music business or how I see things, it comes from a pretty experienced point of view. I was 9 years old, 1969, when I heard Hendrix playing the Star Spangled Banner on the X. The X, it came into El Paso. We got it there. If you don't know what the X is, that's an outlaw bootleg radio station that came south of the border from Mexico. ZZ Top even wrote a song about it called Heard It on the X. But yes, I heard Jimi Hendrix, and it took me a couple of days to process it, man. I just was like, that was wild, totally cool. And after a couple of days, I made the decision that's what I wanted to do. I thought that was the coolest thing ever was. So my focus started drifting towards music. My sister bought me my first album. She influenced me in the music, and but as the years progressed and rock and roll got more popular, it was not real popular in my household. Mother was real religious. Dad was real strict. And it didn't blend well. So when I was in my teenage years and I wanted to start growing my hair, well, I always want to grow my hair long, but when I wanted to start playing electric guitar and maybe playing music, that was a little bit much for them to handle. They didn't care for that, but nonetheless, I went that direction. That's how I went. I'm 18. I'm out of the house. I'm looking for guys to play with, looking to get a band, because the school of thought at the time was you hook up with some guys. You get together, you get a band, you work up a bunch of cover tunes, you get out there and you start playing every chance you get, start getting your face out in front of people, seeing and whatnot. And eventually, through time, you start writing your own music. You develop your own style. You start writing your own music. And then it goes from there. The music business has changed, but back in the day, that's what I thought you were supposed to do. So I pursued that. And another factor is I was always strongly influenced by the blues. And the school of thought was you can't play the blues until you live the blues. So I set out to live the blues. I sure did, man. I went in the Navy, got out of the Navy, went to California to try my luck at being a rock star in the early 80s. That didn't work out. I took off hitchhiking around the country for a year, 2 years. I was bumming around, just being a hobo. Didn't really have any place to go, didn't want to go anyplace. But all the while in the back of my head, I'm thinking this is all these experiences that I'm going through now are going to make me a better blues guitar player. And like everything in life, a force set in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted on by an equal or opposite force. Well, that equal and opposite force was in Mount Vernon, Illinois, in the dead of winter, and I'm standing under an overpass up to my knees in snow, wrapped in my sleeping bag. And I remember praying to God. I said, Father, you help me through this one. I'll promise I'll make the next two on my own. But we made it through, and I got out of there. And through time, I eventually developed carpenter skills, because it was an easy way to make money to buy beer and pot. Yep. So, but over the process, I developed some good skills. I had a truck full of tools. I was making good money. I had a decent reputation. But all the while, I'm still trying to make it with the music. I'm playing in bands when I can. I'm jamming around. And then my son is born. And that provided me with a good opportunity. The ex-wife was the breadwinner in the household, and she went back to work, and I stayed home. I was Mr. Mom during the day, and I was rock star at night. And I did that for several years, and I still play out. And I have enjoyed some successes in the music business, and I've had a lot of experiences in the music business. I by no means do I consider myself an expert in the music. I don't consider myself an expert in anything. So, but I do have a perspective. I probably could give you a different perspective on how to look at things. And that's where my knowledge comes from, is the experience, all those years of playing in bands. I don't like to admit how many bands I played in, because it's basically admitting to how many failures you've had in your life. But we all got to fall to learn, right? Thank you, Troy. Well, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you got anything to say, just leave a comment. I'll check them. Please like and subscribe. And I'm trying my best to get over 100 videos. So you know the drill. Share with your friends. That's the World According to the Blind Dog. We'll see you next time. All right, then.